Hi guys, welcome back to another video, and today I have the Dendrobium nobile video for you. So I have this Dendrobium nobile that is in serious trouble. I've shown you this one in bloom before. It's one of those that has white flowers. It's beautiful, super perfumey. It's one of these Dendrobium nobile hybrids actually. So what happening here, as you can see, the mother plant canes became completely yellow and mushy. They are all wrinkled. There is no roots anymore. If I look into the pot, I can see they are brown and rotting. But on the bright side, it pushed out several cakeys, and I'm gonna try to save them. So if you think this video can be useful, come with me and I walk you through the signs that your Dendrobium isn't well, possible reasons for it, and exactly how I'm rescuing the babies. Let's start with the signs that something is really not right. The canes are all wrinkled. What this means is that my plant is very dehydrated. So when we have a very dehydrated plant, there are two causes. One, I wouldn't be watering, and then my plant wouldn't hydrate itself. That's not the case. I have been watering my plant. So if you just brought your Dendrobium nobile from the supermarket and the canes are wrinkled, don't worry, offer it some water. If you have roots inside your pot, the canes will plump up. In this case, the canes were not plumping up. So what I have in here is a root damage. So when the roots are damaged, or I don't have roots inside my pot, or I don't have live roots, my plant cannot absorb water. Now, why the canes are all yellow and brown? That means that I have bacteria infection as well that actually killed my mother plant. And if I take my plant from its pot, you're gonna see that it's all brown and mushy. Again, another classic sign that something is wrong here, and that it's probably due to overwatering or poor drainage. What I believe happened to this plant specifically, because this used to be my plant, I didn't buy it in this state from any supermarket or any garden center, is that this plant suffered like 2 winters ago. Something were not going well, and I don't know if the roots rot on the process or what happened, but it started to push out a ton of cakes. And I think these cakes were a protection, was basically a survival strategy. So when you see a nobile with too many cakes, be careful, because it can be a sign that something is wrong. It's normal for these plants to push out cakeys, but maybe not too many cakes. That's again a strange sign that something is weird and not going well with my plant. This can also be a plant that has some disease. I'm not 100% sure about what happened to this plant, but as you can see, I need to save it immediately, or at least I need to attempt to save it immediately. As I told you before, some of the reasons that this plant could be like this would be root rot, so it was very cold in winter, offered too much water, the water didn't dry, I didn't have enough drainage, I let it be in the cold weather for longer than this plant was supposed to start to become dehydrated and to suffer a little bit. Then I brought it in, offered too much water, the roots didn't adapt well and they got suffocated. I had a case of root rot. My plant starts to get really stressed and push out cakeys. Something else, I had multiple infestations of pests, so this plant was definitely attacked by spider mites. I had thrips as well. So there is also a possibility that this plant got attacked by insects that they can also spread disease, and this plant has some virus or bacterial infection for sure looking at the canes, and that's also killing my plant. Some plants, because they were hybridized many times, they can be genetically a little bit, let's say, more vulnerable than other orchids. So in this case, this can also be a possibility. That's why this plant push out many cakeys. Taking all of these causes out of the way, now let's go to the more practical action. How can I fix it? So I will show you. I grab all of my tools, so we're gonna try to fix and save this plant together. I will show you all of the steps, and maybe if you have a plant like that inside your home and you want to rescue it, maybe these tips will help you. So let's start. let's start this rescue process, and the first step is have a pair of pruners in case you need one. But we're gonna intend to remove all of these cakeys without actually using a pair of pruners. You can easily do it with your own hands, so let's try doing it without using the scissors. As you can see, I have cakes everywhere here, so the way to remove it is just grab it from the base of the cakey and slowly but surely twist it, and it should come out like so. I hope we're able to see it. So all of the roots are here, and I will do it with all of these cakeys. It's a lot of them if you haven't noticed until now. Yeah, loads and loads and loads. So I have like 2 cakeys together here, and then I keep turning my plant around. And then here we have another cakey, and I have cakeys here as well. In the end, when I finish removing all of them, I will show you, I will count them with you so we can see the state of this plant. Is that a guarantee that you'll survive? Oh no, it depends actually. If this plant has an underlying issue, most likely the cakeys will have it as well, because they are the baby, so they carry the same genetics, and probably some disease as well. Virus and other disease can be inherited. So let me show you. Put all of these cakes together here. Hopefully it is in focus. So I have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cakeys that we will pot together now. Before starting potting this up, what I will do is I will spray everything with hydrogen peroxide so we can get rid of any bacteria that is still here, and also maybe some spider mites. It will help this plant to better survive. Let me find my hydrogen peroxide. This is hydrogen peroxide 3%, and the way to use it is pretty easy. You just grab your plant and start spraying everything, both sides of the leaves and also the roots. This is very useful for new plants, especially because plants might have some snails inside the pots, and this will help to get rid of all of the snails. But in this case here, I have no snails. It's literally because I know for sure that this can help if I have some bacteria lurking around. And also, as I said, it won't control my spider mite infestation if there is any here, but it will definitely get rid of some of them. Also, showering your plants help with the infestation. It won't get rid of everything, but it definitely helps. So I'm just doing this pretty quickly, letting it freeze for a couple of seconds. There we go, they are all here. Now they are fizzing, and when they are done fizzing, what I will do is we're gonna start potting these cakes up. Before that though, that's what's left of the mother plant. What I will do with these, I will throw all of these away. I just remove the structure that I used to sustain my plant with, because this plant was very unruly. It used to be very healthy and beautiful. It's not anymore. So I take these all out of my plant, and I will just throw all of these away. This plant is gone. There is nothing for me to save here. Something else is that I can definitely reuse, and that's what I will do. The same pot and the same outer pot, because it's the same plant, so it's super safe to do so. Let me clean the pot, let me throw this plant away, and I will return here, and we will finally pot these cakes together. Ta-da! I am back, and now I am back with a much better display. So the mother plant is gone. What I have here is all of the cakeys with my transparent pot, and I will use in this case bark and sphagnum moss. That's what I use for all of my repottings. To start, let me grab some moss, and I will add a layer of moss to the base of this pot just to help to retain humidity, and I will start layering bark and moss. I think I can layer a little bit more. Dendrobium nobilis don't need a lot of moss in their pot, especially where I live. That's pretty humid and cold. But if you live in a very hot climate, then it would be a little bit different. I prefer to add a little bit more bark than moss to my mix. It will help my plant and to help my plant to survive. Something that I also do is to add some pesticide to all of my repottings to avoid thrips. And more than that, it's just add a really good amount of bark, a little bit more of moss, and now I think my plants will fit. Let's see. So there we go. First cakey. The difficulty when we are repotting many cakes together is to get them all inside the pot and not to be a very clumsy display. It's almost impossible when they have different sizes, such as these ones, and also when they are in different stages in terms of maturity. I have some plastic clips that I used for my Dendrobium nobile before. Let's see if I will be able to use it here just to keep them together. It will help with my repotting. Let me ask you, do you have Dendrobium nobile hybrids in your collection? I find that it's after Phalaenopsis, it's the most common Dendrobium that you can it's the most common orchid that you can find locally. Even supermarkets will bring nobile hybrids from time to time. Not only that, but it's the kind of orchid that usually it's available in multiple regions. So it's not a difficult one to come across. The difficult thing about these kind of orchids is that people buy it thinking that you have to look after it like you look after other orchids as well, such as Phalaenopsis, and that's not actually the case. Since these orchids here, some hybrids are a little bit more adaptable and they will bloom from time to time, even when they are not exposed to a cool down temperature. However, what I find is that most of them will benefit from a cool down temperature. So if you cannot offer a proper cool down temperature, like having a room without any, one is lost. And you probably not see it properly, but that's fine. Having a room without any type of reheating, it's quite difficult for you to bloom and rebloom these plants. Let me add some beads of slow release fertilizer. Not a lot though. These plants need their fertilizer when they are growing and maturing, but now it's almost winter here. The only thing that I want for these plants, I don't want them to bloom this year. They are baby plants, so when they are baby plants, we're not gonna expose them to any cool down. I will wait until next year if this plant survives, because we don't know what's going on, right? Could it be just a serious case of root rot? Could have been something else. We will discover with these baby plants. If they survive, we know there was probably something affecting the root system and not any disease or anything related to its DNA. But we don't know for sure until I have all of these plants growing and becoming mature and beautiful orchids inside this pot. So my plants is repotted. Let me clean everything and let's conclude this video. Ta-da! This is my newly repotted orchid. Actually, I have many orchids in here. As you can see, it's full of baby orchids inside this pot. And what's the next steps in this case here? First of all, I need to water this plant because my mix was mostly dry, although I added some hydrogen peroxide to my tray and it got a little bit wet. I prefer to still add a little bit of water so they would be hydrated for a little while, and then when the potting mix is completely dry again, I will add more water. Something else is that this plant will be in a very bright space. Dendrobium nobiles enjoy the bright light, so it will be near my windowsill And with the right sunlight, being the right position, this plant might succeed. Something else is that I can see that these cakeys are very dehydrated, so I keep an eye on them to see if they being exposed to humidity around the roots, it's helping them to hydrate. I'll also be observing how they are growing, and hopefully in time I will have this pot fill out of live roots and beautiful Dendrobium nobile plants. So if your orchid looks like this, don't give up. There is still plenty of life in here, and you can still be able to save your orchid. Before I go, just to let you know that if you enjoy this type of content, please hit the like button, leave a comment down below, tell me a little bit more about your Dendrobium nobile hybrids, if you enjoy growing them, and also I do have a selection of mugs, beautiful orchid merch in here. If you want to help me, especially as a small content creator, I also have a store with some orchid products that are linked to this channel. So anything that you decide to buy, it helps me a lot. Something else, there is also a possibility for you to join my membership channel, but most importantly is to subscribe to this channel. Let me know if you want to have more content about Dendrobium nobilis, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye!